So, make it your ritual every morning. Open your ears before you open your schedule. Listen to wisdom before you listen to gossip. Listen to ideas before you listen to excuses. The person who listens grows. The person who grows changes. And the person who changes wins. So let's begin each day with these simple words. I am ready to listen every morning. Because the moment you start listening, your life starts transforming. Listening is learning. It sounds simple, almost too simple. But inside this idea lies the secret of growth, progress, and wisdom. The truth is, most people don't really listen. They hear the words, but they don't absorb the meaning. They nod their head, but their mind is busy preparing what they will say next. And yet, the greatest breakthroughs in life often come, not when we are speaking, but when we are listening. Every day, life tries to teach us something. People share experiences, books share wisdom, even silence speaks if we are willing to listen. The question is, are we open enough to catch the lesson? When you say to yourself, listening is learning, you remind your mind to stay humble. You remind your ego that you don't know everything. You remind yourself that the moment you stop listening, you stop growing. Listening is not just about ears, it is about attitude. You listen with curiosity. You listen with respect. You listen with the intention to understand, not just to reply. And when you listen like this, you gain insights that others miss. You hear not only the words, but also the wisdom behind them. You catch the feelings, the struggles, and the solutions that are hidden in the conversation. Many people believe success is about talking louder, presenting better, or showing confidence. But in reality, success often belongs to those who listened when others were busy talking. The great leaders of history were great listeners. They observed, they paid attention, they took notes, and they applied what they learned. Listening became their education, and education, applied consistently, became their advantage. Listening is also the fastest way to learn without paying the heavy price of mistakes. You don't need to burn your hand on every fire to know it hurts. You don't need to go broke in every business deal to understand how money works. You can listen to those who came before you. You can borrow their lessons instead of borrowing their pain. This is why listening is not a passive act. It is an active investment. Every time you listen, you are collecting treasures. Every time you listen, you are building your future. And here is something remarkable. The more you listen, the more people want to share with you. Because true listening is rare. When people feel heard, they open up. They trust you. They teach you. They give you opportunities that are hidden from the loud and the distracted. Listening creates relationships, and relationships create doors. You may think you are only listening, but in reality, you are planting seeds of trust, respect, and influence. If you want to grow in business, listen to your customers. If you want to grow in relationships, listen to your loved ones. If you want to grow in wisdom, listen to mentors, books, and experiences. Everywhere you go, listening will serve you more than talking. The person who listens the most learns the most. And the person who learns the most wins the most. So every day, remind yourself listening is learning. When you wake up, open your ears before you open your mouth. Pay attention before you pass judgment. Collect lessons before you give opinions. Because knowledge doesn't just come from speaking. It comes from listening deeply, sincerely, and consistently. And if you can master this one skill, your growth will have no limits. Start the day with openness. Every morning is not just another sunrise. It is an invitation. An invitation to begin again, to try again, to learn again. The problem is that many people carry yesterday into today. They wake up already tired, already worried, already closed off to new possibilities. But if you can start the day with openness, you create space for miracles. Openness is not about weakness. It is about strength. It is the strength to say, Maybe there is something I don't know yet. Maybe there is a better way. Maybe today has something valuable to offer me. When you rise with this attitude, life rewards you. Opportunities that were hidden suddenly become visible. Solutions that felt impossible yesterday appear simple today. Most people start the day with their mind locked. They repeat the same routines, the same thoughts, the same doubts. And because their mind is closed, nothing new enters. They live the same day over and over again, and then wonder why their life never changes. But openness breaks this cycle. Openness says, I am ready to see differently. I am ready to listen, to learn, to try. That small shift in perspective can turn an ordinary morning into the beginning of an extraordinary journey. When you start the day with openness, you open yourself to people. You are more patient, more understanding, more willing to connect. Instead of rushing past conversations, you hear them. Instead of judging quickly, you consider deeply. And people notice. They respond to your openness with trust, with respect, with kindness. Relationships grow stronger, doors open wider, and influence expands, all because you decided not to be closed. Openness also brings creativity. A closed mind repeats, an open mind creates. A closed mind looks for problems, an open mind looks for possibilities. Each morning, when you invite openness, you invite fresh ideas. You may discover a new way to solve an old problem. You may see beauty in a place you once ignored. You may find courage where yesterday you only felt fear. This is what openness does. It refreshes the spirit. It renews the mind. It transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. But starting the day with openness requires discipline. It requires pushing aside yesterday's frustrations and refusing to let them dictate today. It requires silencing the voice of negativity that says, nothing will change. It requires choosing curiosity over certainty, hope over doubt, and gratitude over complaint. None of this is automatic. You decide it. You practice it. And the more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Think of openness as a doorway. Each morning you stand at that door. You can keep it shut, stay in the dark, repeat the same old story. Or you can open it, step into the light, and allow the day to teach you, surprise you, and shape you. The choice is yours. The day is not against you. Life is not against you. But if you close yourself, you stand in your own way. The most successful people are not always the most talented or the most intelligent. They are often the most open. Open to advice, open to feedback, open to change. They allow life to shape them. They stay students even when they become teachers. They stay curious even when they succeed. That is why their success keeps growing, while others remain stuck. So, when the morning comes, ask yourself one question. Am I open today? If the answer is yes, then the day will work for you. It will teach you, guide you, challenge you, and reward you. Start the day with openness, and you will end the day with growth. Wisdom before noise. It is one of the most important choices you can make each day, because the world is full of noise. Messages, alerts, conversations, opinions, distractions. From the moment you wake up, the noise starts calling for your attention. The phone buzzes, the news flashes, the demands of the day start pressing. And if you are not careful, you can let the noise of the world drown out the wisdom you need to guide your life. Wisdom before noise means you decide what enters your mind first. Instead of letting the outside world control your focus, you choose to feed your spirit before the world feeds you confusion. It is about priorities. When you start your morning with wisdom, you gain clarity, focus, and direction. When you start with noise, you get scattered, reactive, and overwhelmed. The order makes all the difference. Think about it. The first thing you allow into your mind sets the tone for the entire day. If it is negativity, your mood is poisoned. If it is gossip, your energy is drained. If it is worry, your confidence weakens. But if the first thing you take in is wisdom, your mind is strengthened. You begin the day with perspective. You begin with purpose. You begin with power. That is why wisdom must come before noise. Wisdom does not always shout. It whispers. It requires silence, reflection, and attention. You find it in reading a book, in reflecting on your goals, in listening to a mentor, or even in a moment of quiet prayer. But noise is loud. Noise is urgent. Noise wants to distract you before you even take your first step. If you are not intentional, you will live by the noise instead of living by wisdom. Those who win in life are not those who avoid noise, but those who know how to place wisdom first. They set aside time for it. They make it their ritual. They guard the first minutes of their day. Instead of reaching for the phone, they reach for a journal. Instead of scrolling through other people's lives, they reflect on their own. Instead of starting with headlines, they start with principles. This simple discipline changes everything, because wisdom gives you a filter. It teaches you what matters and what doesn't. It shows you which opportunities to take and which to avoid. It gives you patience when the noise tries to rush you, and confidence when the noise tries to scare you. Wisdom is not just knowledge. It is knowledge applied with good judgment. And judgment cannot be built if all you consume is noise. When you start with wisdom, the noise no longer controls you. The same distractions may come, but you are steady. The same challenges may appear, but you are prepared. The same chaos may surround you, but inside you are calm. Why? Because wisdom has already anchored you. It has already told you what is important. It has already reminded you of who you are and where you are going. Life is a constant battle between wisdom and noise. Every day the world will try to distract you, to confuse you, to rush you. But every day you have the power to decide which comes first. Wisdom will never force its way in. You must choose it. And once you do, you will notice a shift. Your thoughts become clearer, your decisions become stronger, and your days become more meaningful. Wisdom before noise is not just a phrase, it is a practice. And the more you practice, the more powerful your life becomes. Humility creates growth. It is a truth that most people overlook. In a world where everyone is trying to be seen, trying to be heard, trying to prove how much they know, humility often looks like weakness. But in reality, humility is strength, because it keeps the door of learning open. The moment a person believes they know everything, their growth stops. The moment they believe they have no more to learn, life stops teaching them. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself with honesty. It is admitting that you have strengths, but also weaknesses. It is recognizing that you have achieved something, but you still have more to achieve. It is being proud of how far you have come, but being wise enough to know that the journey is not finished yet. This attitude creates growth because it keeps you hungry, it keeps you curious, and it keeps you teachable. Many of the greatest leaders were not the loudest or the most arrogant. They were humble enough to listen, to adapt, to admit mistakes, and to learn from others. Humility gave them wisdom, and wisdom gave them influence. On the other hand, arrogance destroys growth. When you think you already know, you stop listening. When you stop listening, you stop learning. And when you stop learning, you start declining, even if you don't see it right away. Growth is a process, and processes require patience. Humility gives you that patience. It allows you to accept failure without breaking. It allows you to take feedback without anger. It allows you to start small without feeling embarrassed. This is why humble people grow faster. They are not afraid to say, "I don't know." They are not ashamed to ask questions. They are not too proud to begin again. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes a stepping stone. And every experience becomes a teacher. Humility also creates connection. People are naturally drawn to those who are humble. They feel safe, they feel respected, and they feel valued. When you are humble, you don't need to prove yourself superior. You give space for others to shine, and in that process, they also give back to you. Growth is not just about personal development. It is also about the opportunities and relationships you build. And humility is the key that opens those doors. Think about this: if your cup is already full, nothing new can be poured into it. Arrogance fills the cup with ego, but humility keeps the cup empty enough to receive. Every day, life has something new to pour into you. New lessons, new wisdom, new opportunities. But only a humble mind and heart can receive them. If you live with pride, you block the flow. If you live with humility, you invite growth. Humility does not mean being silent or invisible. It does not mean hiding your gifts. It means using your gifts with gratitude, not arrogance. It means leading without demanding recognition. It means serving without expecting applause. It means achieving success, but remembering the hands that helped you climb. And when you live this way, your growth multiplies because you are not climbing alone. Others lift you, and you lift them, and together the growth becomes unstoppable. So humility creates growth not by lowering you, but by lifting you higher. It makes you a student of life forever. It keeps you open, it keeps you curious, and it keeps you grounded. And in a world that rewards arrogance for a season, humility rewards growth for a lifetime. Daily renewal is the secret to lasting energy, lasting growth, and lasting success. Everyday life takes something from you. It takes your strength, your focus, your patience, and your time. And if you do not renew yourself daily, you slowly run out. You begin to live on empty. You begin to operate on old strength, and you begin to lose the spark that makes life exciting. Renewal is not optional. It is necessary, because the demands of life will always be greater than yesterday's supply of energy. Renewal means you make a conscious choice to refresh your mind, your body, and your spirit every single day. You don't wait until you are burned out to rest. You rest a little each day. You don't wait until you are completely lost to reflect. You reflect a little each day. You don't wait until your relationships break down to connect. You connect a little each day. That is how you stay strong, balanced, and alive. Many people think growth happens only in big steps, in big achievements, in big victories. But in truth, growth happens in the quiet, daily habits of renewal. It happens when you pause to read something that feeds your mind. It happens when you take a walk that calms your body. It happens when you spend a moment in prayer or gratitude that lifts your spirit. These small acts of daily renewal build up, and over time they give you strength far greater than you imagine. Daily renewal also protects you from the weight of stress. Stress is not always the problem. The problem is that people do not renew themselves enough to handle it. They keep running without stopping. They keep working without recharging, and soon the smallest problem feels like the biggest mountain. Renewal is what resets your perspective. It reminds you that you are more than your problems, more than your tasks, more than the pressure of the moment. Renewal restores balance, and balance creates resilience. Think of nature. Every day the sun sets, and the night renews the earth. Every season the trees shed their leaves and grow again. Renewal is built into the design of life. Without it, there is no growth, no beauty, no fruit. The same law applies to us. If we don't allow ourselves daily renewal, we become stuck, rigid, and lifeless. But when we choose to renew, we allow ourselves to stay fresh, flexible, and creative. Daily renewal also requires letting go. You cannot renew if you carry yesterday's mistakes into today. You cannot renew if you hold on to old anger, old fear, or old regret. Renewal means forgiving yourself, forgiving others, and stepping into the day with lightness instead of heaviness. It means saying, yesterday is gone, today is new, and I am ready to begin again. That simple mindset shift can change the entire direction of your life. Success is not about intensity alone. It is about consistency. Anyone can work hard for a short time, but only those who renew daily can keep going for years. Renewal gives you the ability to stay steady, to stay strong, and to keep climbing even when the journey is long. Without renewal, you burn out. With renewal, you build a life that lasts. So make renewal a daily practice. Read a page that inspires you. Write a thought that clears your mind. Walk in silence that heals your heart. Laugh with someone you love. Pray with sincerity. Breathe deeply. Each act may seem small, but together they make you whole again. Renewal is not a luxury. It is the foundation of a meaningful life. And when you practice daily renewal, you don't just survive each day, you truly live it. Listening transforms you, not just in what you know, but in who you become. Most people believe transformation comes only from action, doing more, working harder, pushing faster. But the truth is, some of the most powerful changes in life come from listening. When you truly listen, you open yourself to ideas that challenge you, to wisdom that guides you, and to perspectives that reshape the way you see the world. Listening is not passive. It is one of the most active forces of transformation. Listening transforms because it humbles you. It reminds you that you don't know everything, and that others have experiences and insights you can learn from. The proud person who refuses to listen stays stuck. But the humble listener grows, because every conversation, every story, every lesson becomes a stepping stone. Listening takes you beyond the limits of your own knowledge and allows you to borrow the knowledge of others. That is transformation. Listening also deepens relationships. When you listen, people feel valued. They feel respected. They feel that their voice matters. And this changes not just them, but you as well. You become more compassionate, more understanding, and more connected. Transformation is not only about building skills, it is about building character. Listening develops patience, empathy, and kindness, all qualities that turn ordinary people into extraordinary leaders. When you listen, you also expand your vision. The world is bigger than your own thoughts, bigger than your own problems, bigger than your own perspective. Listening exposes you to new possibilities. It shows you paths you didn't see before. It reveals solutions hidden in plain sight. A single sentence, a single piece of advice, a single story you hear at the right moment can completely shift the direction of your life. That is the transformative power of listening. But listening requires more than just silence. It requires attention. It requires being present, putting aside the urge to interrupt, and resisting the habit of planning your response while the other person is speaking. Real listening is not waiting for your turn to talk. It is seeking to understand. And when you listen like,